Hi everybody, Bob Pickett. Look who is next to me. It is Country Music Hall of Famer. It's Ronnie Milsap.
Bob Pickett, thank you,
man.
man.
Thank you.
It's an honor to visit with you.
It's great to visit you. I told you a few minutes ago, you were the very first country concert I attended in 1975. I was just a little kid, but
wow.
I remember the next day I went to the record store, bought every 8-track, every Ronnie Milsap 8-track.
You still have an 8-track player?
I don't have it, but I still have those 8-tracks. I can tell
that's
you that.
Great.
They
that's
lasted
great.
longer.
I still got my 8-track player.
Oh, you still do? Does it still work?
Yeah.
Well, what are some of the 8-tracks you have?
I don't know. I've got Pure Love, A Legend in My Time, and Ronnie Milsap Live. That's on 8-track.
I had that one on 8-track. And
Yeah.
there's something about that click in the middle of the song, isn't there? You just can't duplicate that on the radio at all.
No. Just when you're getting into it, it clicks over.
Now, I'm sure our listeners know this. You are number 3 on the list when it comes to number 1 hits. The only people ahead of you, George Strait and Conway, but you're number 3 on the list. That is quite an honor.
I'm just thankful, Bob. I really am. I've been cast into this life at a time when the fans have been so important, and they have really made my dreams come true.
Well, you've made our dreams come true with your music. You certainly have.
Thank you.
Now, is it true that you're going to call it quits and you're going to retire after this year?
I haven't decided that. You know, I only ask for one thing, Bob Pickett. What would I do if I retired?
That's what I'm saying. You've got to come out. You've got to perform for the fans. You're not going to do it. You're going to be on the road.
I'm going to be on the road.
Yeah, you are.
I don't know how to stop.
Now, see, that's the best news we have heard right now. So you're going to continue to tour.
Yeah.
I was reading your autobiography, which is hard to find, by the way. But what a great story. And one of the things that stuck out is, and in fact, this is the anniversary of the day the music died this weekend.
Oh my goodness,
I never knew the
February
influence.
3rd, 1959.
I never knew the influence that Buddy Holly had on you when you were young.
He did. And my friend and I were in practice hall playing pianos and singing and playing, and the music teacher came in and said, "You are out of the music department." That kicked us out that day. I said, "We're just having a little wake to celebrate Buddy Holly and Richie Valens and the Big Bopper." But, you know, they didn't think too much of it, and they kicked us out of the music department.
Oh, well, they're probably regretting it right now. Now, there's another connection I got to talk about. In the book, it mentions your background, your affiliation with Elvis.
Oh, yeah. Well, Elvis was the voice of my generation, Bob. Yeah. And to think that I'd ever have a chance to be around him or get to play on a record or sit and talk with him kind of like we're doing right now, it was unbelievable.
What was he like?
He was very friendly and very southern, a southern gentleman, I say. That's what it was to me. I said, "Elvis, you know, I'm just so thrilled I get to play on your record." I played on Kentucky Rain.
Right.
Which was cut down at American Studios in Memphis.
But no, you played the piano on it, but you sang on it. If you listen carefully, you can hear you doing background vocals.
Exactly. Elvis said, "Hey, I appreciate you hitting that high note there for me."
Which leads, Kentucky Rain was written by Eddie Rabbitt.
That's right.
Who coincidentally wrote your first number 1
Sure
hit.
did. Pure Love. Our song had like 8 verses on it.
Now, that's a short song.
Yeah, and I told my producer, I said, "Let's do the chorus, let's do the first verse, do the chorus again, and modulate a step, do the chorus again. There's your record, 2 minutes, 19 seconds.
And that's the song that introduced us to Ronnie Milsap.
Yeah.
My goodness. Now, you are going to perform that one tonight, aren't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How many number 1 hits? We're looking at 40 number 1 hits, right?
Yeah.
You don't do all 40 hits in the show, do you?
Well, we do all we can, Bob, because I know a lot of people want to hear certain songs. Quite often, we'll just open it up and say, "Hey, what do you folks want to hear?" Yeah.
Now, the person...
Then you get a chance to understand what folks want to hear.
You're good at reading the audience, aren't you?
Yeah.
Very good.
The audience is a big part of the show. They always have been.
Now, who taught you that? Did Charlie Pride teach you how to read the audience?
Yeah, by all means. He was the best. He's a great teacher, Charlie Pride. Tremendous guy.
Uh-huh.
And taught me how to do an interview and taught me everything I knew. I came out on the road with him early in 1974. Then I was playing with him somewhere up in early 75. Then one day he said, Ronnie, it's time for you to move on. I said, Charlie, I can't tell you how much I appreciate what you've done to help me. He said, Milsap, pass it on.
That's what you're doing.
That's it.
Now, I'm going to tell you, if you can find his book. It's Almost Like a Song. I found it. You can find it on eBay, on Amazon. It's out of print, but what a great, interesting story. Now, that book was written how long ago?
It's out of print?
Well, it's out of print.
Oh, that was my first million-seller single.
But
it can't be out of print.
But it's what I'm saying.
Protest.
What
I
I'm
get in there
saying-
with the Democrats and protest.
We're going to march. What I'm saying is it's time for a sequel to it.
Exactly.
We want to hear the rest of the story. What's happened between now and then?
Yeah, boy, that was a great song.
Yeah.
Out with it. I lived with it all during 1976. My wife Joycey, who's with me here tonight,
Right, she's
and,
right over there.
she said, "Why do you want to keep listening to that thing? It sounds terrible." I said, well, I just think once I get home to get in the living room to sit behind the piano, I'll work up an arrangement on it. I did. I got in there and she said, what in the world is that? I said, that's that awful song you didn't like all year.
And she changed her mind. didn't
Yeah, she did. She called my producer and he came over and he said, I'm booking the studio right now. We got in and cut it.
Oh, what a great song.
But now
Yeah.
he's talking about your book.
But I mean, I'm talking about your book, which is also also
the
named
book.
after that
They
too.
want to- they
Oh,
want
okay.
to do
There needs to
movie
be a
about
sequel
that.
to the book, so
Oh,
want to
yes,
do a
there
movie.
does. There
and
could
that's
be.
the book that's out of print.
Could be a sequel or there could be a movie.
I think there should be a movie. Now, would you make a cameo in the movie?
I would do whatever the director told me to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll work on that. Before we leave the interview, something that was also fascinating to me. I didn't know that you collected old radios and you collected old radio shows.
You know I do.
What type of old radio shows?
Well, I've got them on my little device. I travel with them on the road. I was listening last night to Gunsmoke with William Conrad
Yeah,
starring
it's
as
Marshall Dillon.
Matt
Yeah.
Dillon. Yeah,
So that's got to take up a lot of space, and you're okay with that, right?
I love it.
Wow, that's going to be great. Hall of Famer, Mr. Ronnie Milsap visiting with us. Thanks again, sir. Cannot wait to
Hey,
see
Bob,
you on
it's
stage.
my pleasure, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Wonderful to visit with you.
Nice visiting with you too, sir.